Today is January 17th, 2023. This is a Hannah City Village Council meeting. Everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. No guest tonight. Everybody should have a copy of our January 3rd, 2023 minute meetings. If you haven't scoured them like Trustee Johnson, please do so and take a look at them. You always scour them.
Make a motion, we accept the meeting minutes as submitted.
Second.
And a motion by Sidak.
We need to change anything on the, because in here we said 65% water increase, which now we don't think it's quite that high.
Well, that was just based on the estimate that we had at the time. So.
That's what was said during the minutes, so, or during the meeting.
Yeah, motion by Sidak, second by Mr. Johnson. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Mr. Sandra on the treasurer's report.
Nothing really out of the ordinary. Any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve it and pay all outstanding bills. Second.
A motion by Chirivali, second by Johnson. Any further discussion? We'll roll call it. Miller?
Yeah.
Pearson?
Yes.
Chirivali?
Yes.
Sidak?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Motion carries. Now Cassandra can pay all the bills.
Yeah.
Mr. Watt hasn't joined us.
I'll take it.
Okay.
All right, so there's in your packet, there's a map, colored map, looks like this. This is the street program that we put together, the 5-year street program to get every street covered in a 5-year period of time. So the orange is what we did in 2021. The blue is what we did in 2022. The green is what we're proposing we do in 2023. The kind of purplish, darkish red color is 2024, and then the lighter red is 2025, and then we would have all the streets done. The program for next year, we estimated last year we did, I think it was $3.50. We got a pretty good deal last year, but we built the plan on $4 in case it goes up, and we can adjust from there. But what we're suggesting is everything in green, and I think the dollar amount came in just under $80,000. We've got 47 of MFT money coming in and 27 left of Rebuild Illinois to help cover that, plus the amount that we put back. We always subsidize it a little bit from the 60 grand we put away on our own. So if everybody's kind of in general agreement on that, what we'll do is prepare all the paperwork between now and February 7th, which is the next meeting, and we'll have it then and vote on it and approve a official MFT program and get it out for bid early like we did last year, and hopefully get multiple bids that compete and drive that number down again.
Yeah, this section on Main, South Main there, does that just go to the old tracks?
You know what? I don't know. I know we had a long debate about whether or not we should do it now or wait on when we do the red part. I would guess, yeah, it's probably is it that stretch
Right there, going to the sportsman club.
going to the
Right.
Sportsman's Club?
Yeah, from Earl Ramey's place.
Why is the rest of South Main and the rest of North Main not on there?
Yeah, anything in gray is either it's not oil and chip or it's not ours.
The part of Maine by Gills is actual paved. We redid that 4 years ago or something.
They did
They
asphalt.
couldn't finish last year. They ran out.
And the one in front of the firehouse?
Same thing. It was all those one project.
All the way down to
That was my next question.
Yeah, I think it was 300,000 or 400,000 just to pave that amount there.
yeah, because we also had
HMA surface.
line in there.
Yeah, the green blue line on Runkles because the blue line is where they ran out of rock last year. That's why there's a little stretch of green there.
And what we've done at Murphy, is that where our coverage ends, or is that where it turns to rock?
That's where our coverage ends.
Yeah, it's paved a long ways farther than that.
Yeah, it's on the city ends right before my house.
All around the
If you
turn?
call it.
Yeah, around the turn and farther on, all the way to the bottom of the hill, basically.
So who's in charge of that? Just the
Township.
Township?
Hello, Mr. Lott. We were just discussing the MFT plan, the little map that Brian sent, or you guys sent out.
I just walked them through what we were
Sorry
doing.
about I had some connection issues. Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Brandon, I just walked them through the map and what our projections were for each year. You can jump in and add detailed cost or process points if you have them.
Yeah, I don't have anything. My understanding is we are preparing to present the this year's program at the next meeting. Is it the 7th? Do I have the date right?
Yep, February 7th.
To be able to go through that in great detail, but it's really just the next step in the great plan that was put together a couple years ago by Roger and Brian and others. So my understanding is you guys sorted through some of the details, we corrected the map, and just one more step in the process. That's what I know. I don't know if there's anything specific you want me to address.
No, and when we had our meeting, we talked about, the only other thing we talked about is, are we going to need to go back to Murphy in, 3 more years and start over? Or is it going to be in decent enough shape where we do something different, or we only do the high traffic points, or, are we going to need to do every road every 5th year, I think is the question. We didn't know whether or not we were going to have to or not.
I agree, and I think the question would be, and I hope I'm not misspeaking for what your discussion was this week or last week, but if you can bank money, does that then roll into your major project fund, which is a good thing?
Yeah, it would. The other point that, we don't want to let it get away from us again either. So, but he said he thought most communities do every 7 years. Is that right?
That's true. That's what I hear. And to be honest, sometimes that's not even possible. But yeah, 5 is as usual. You guys are well ahead of the curve. 5 is a great opportunity, especially some of these lower traveled roads, and yours are, most of them are in decent shape to begin with. You've got a couple of boogers, but with a decent road to start with, and they're not that highly traveled, not a lot of industrial traffic. 5 years is you guys are in great shape.
I hope we can get enough ahead of it with a 5-year plan that we can skip some of the years, use some of our big money in some of those streets that aren't that great. Everything's at a good point, and maybe if there is a street we know that's bad, I know you've recommended it on Murphy before, but do something major like a tilling, and start fresh with good base and bring it up, and do a proper fix on it now that we've got good surface on everything.
Right. Or as maybe you're looking at water main projects, as we talked last time, drainage projects. Yeah, maintenance is always important, and that's what it's for. But if you can leverage that money to curb and gutter something and improve drainage while improving the road, that's an opportunity for you as well to fix related problems in your community.
Yeah, or we know we have a water main we need to replace and just destroy the road and let her go. Know that we have to save it because we're going to rebuild it,
This is true.
Don't bother doing a proper patch on it, just come in and redo the road right afterwards, and that'd be the dream, is to sync it up.
Yep. And not to complicate things, but if you've got a big pot of EPA money and maybe it's don't fix that one for a while because you're going to tear it up and use EPA money to fix it. There's all those possibilities that are out there, but you are in a very good position with a 5-year plan on the condition of your roads to be able to have exactly what Brian said, those choices every year to decide if when maybe this one doesn't need it. Maybe we can do smarter things with our money.
Well, after this year, we'll be a little over halfway done with the plan, so.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. So
Yeah. And Tony, I don't know if this is my report or not. I don't mean to Shanghai, but other than the MFT and anything I can address there, I did not have anything else.
okay. Yeah, I mean, it looks good. I know we've worked on this in the past with Farnsworth, and they've really tried to get us as planned because for years we were playing catch up and we were only patching what we thought was absolutely necessary, and then we ended up just playing round robin. We need it here, need it there, need it here, need it there. So, but this plan at least allows us to take the proper steps to make sure our streets are maintained. And if we have a year that we don't need, like Brandon said, maybe we look at doing Caleb said, and maybe we look at grinding one of these down, telling it up, and going back and starting from scratch, and maybe we don't put chip and seal down and we put asphalt down.
Well, we're probably definitely, I mean, I don't think we're going to have to do like the cul-de-sacs and those things every 5 years. I mean, Roger pretty much thinks that that's silliness. It was nice to get it done once, but so we can probably minimize the reach with the higher driven streets moving forward. So
Agreed.
Anything else, Brandon?
Nothing from me. No.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And Abby, it's your turn.
I don't have anything to report.
Okay. I know we do have a couple ordinances that we'll be looking at later, so. And that brings us to the administrative report.
okay, so I'll walk through the financials. So if you look at December core funds, so look at the month center column moving down. So actual income of 91,416, actual expense of 87,191, with a positive variance of 4225. You see, income was down a little bit. Really, it was property tax and sales tax, and I just think that's how we were trying to allocate it best as we could on the months we thought it was going to come in. And so I think that's a budget issue. That was like $6,000 so on the income side. So that's what I think that is. Then if you look at December core funds year to date, you look at each of the utility areas or the business areas, everything was positive with the exception of sewer. And that was really, there's about $2,000 of overage on the electric bill that was driving that number. So we allocate electricity, I think, across multiple different businesses based upon what anticipated usage. But the biggest thing I saw that was off was that there's about $2,000 over the budget on electricity and sewer.
Is that due to rates, or is that due to more usage at the?
Well, I think it's like everybody. I think the rate, everybody's Ameren bill was up this time. I think it was partly because we had the cold snap and partly because rates went up. So.
Jim and I were actually just talking about this afternoon. The sewer plant itself has gone up since September about $1,000 a month.
Okay.
Just because of rates.
Thanks. What percentage was that?
It went from 3,000 to 4,000. So
25.
yeah,
Wow.
quite a bit. And he said it's not because I was giving him a hard time telling him he needs to remember to turn the lights off so we wouldn't have so much like. And he said, well, it's not the lights, it's the aeration that runs 24 hours a day. And I'm like, I know, Jim. I was.
I'm saying.
MFT, again, most of the major expenses are all in, so we're just getting income to catch up, but it was positive for the month. TIF, no activity really. BDD, we were 13,105 income, really no expenses to speak of, so positive. For the month. So if you look at the summary for the month, core funds was positive 4225. State income tax and property tax were off a little bit, and then I talked about the electricity was $2,000. I think that's what the major issues there were, but not a whole lot honestly this month to talk about, and everything else I already spoke to. So then we go to year to date. Year-to-date income is $1,136,875. Keep in mind that includes the $81,000 that came in from ARPA, and our expenses are $854,546. And as I always remind you, these are the actual numbers, so we're actually $282,329 to the good, including all the transfers that we did and the one-time only expenses that we had, like the skid steer and all of that. So that's a true number. And I'll show you later. I always adjust it to show you how we actually performed if you back those one-time only things out. Next slide, year-to-date core funds. So remember, income 40.5 out of both water and sewer, so that's elevated by 40,500 in each of those. Water's in part negative because of the way we transferred the dollars around between water and sewer. You combine those two together, and we're still positive, but nothing remarkable really. And then I adjust it, so I back out the one-time only expenses. This isn't perfect, but I try to back out the one-time only stuff in the transfer so you can see how we actually performed for the month. And so we're about $80,000, a little better on income, and about $108,000 better on the expense side. So performing pretty well, I'd say.
How far are we into the year?
I'm sorry?
How far are we into that end of the year?
This is month 8. Yep. So after next month will be 9. That's when we'll start building the budget with 3 quarters in. As we roll into, we'll use those 9 months as our baseline for building next year's number. Let's see, next slide. So year-to-date core funds adjusted. So again, everything's positive. Not everything's operationally it's positive. It's not enough money in every area to, like, water's not carrying its operational expenses plus its capital. But in total, we're easily covering all of our operational expenses plus our capital allocation. MFT year to date, so income 47,590, expenses 55,451. We'll continue to get income in without expenses, but we'll wind up, I'm sure, subsidizing a portion of that from the savings. TIF, that number is a lot higher than we expected it to be this year. That's good, but we also have the rebate we have to give back on the residential, 80% of the residential property that'll come back. BDD, again, doing really well. We don't really have any expenses yet. So the year-to-date summary, we're positive 201,329, and that's excluding the 81,000 one-time only revenue from ARPA. We're operationally positive in all areas when I adjust that out. And then if you take the capital out of that 2,001,329, the capital allocation, we're about $90,000 to the good. So we've got our income, we've paid all our bills, and we moved 14 times 8, whatever that is. That's 14 times 8.
Was it 102 or 112?
Something like that. Yeah.
112.
We moved that to savings and we still have $89,000 to the good. MFT again is negative, but it always is. TIF, we're positive. BDD, we're positive. One thing I would point out is that our operational cash flow for the month was negative. So what that means is we didn't have enough income to cover our expenses plus the capital allocation that we moved to savings. So this is 1 month where our cash went down. If you look at the cash summary, though, checking, we're at $855,353. And then savings were $1,109,419, and our totals at $1,964,773. And again, keep in mind there's ARPA money in some of those dollar amounts. And then I threw in another slide, projected annual surplus. So I'm estimating if I take 8 months and divide it by 8 and multiply by 12, it comes out to 134 by the end of the year. So that's the estimated actual is 302 positive. Take out the actual capital savings of 168 gets us to the 134 positive at the end of the year that we would have in all of our expenses paid and everything we wanted to put into savings, an additional $134,000. If we do the water subsidy for the first 4 months of this calendar year, the last 4 months of the fiscal year, we're we're estimating that'll be a range, a cost of anywhere from $28,000 to $40,000. So our net estimate then, if we did the water subsidy for the first 4 months of the year, would be $94,000 that we would have left over. The next slide is the next thing is the spreadsheet, the cash spreadsheet. You can highlight anything that's negative. You can see that. So operationally, plus moving dollars to capital, we went under for the month on the operational side.
We lost a penny.
Yeah.
On the budget.
When I do the bank
Fees.
fees, it spreads it out off to every proportionally, so they get a penny.
Questions on that? All in all, I think this is the first year where we worked really, really hard to try to build a kind of a realistic break-even budget. We probably did build in a little bit of conservativeness, and we'll try to tighten that up even more next year. But I think we're managing pretty closely to where we thought we would.
I did not work real hard on that. You said we.
I meant us as a whole.
We're very good. Well, good work. Good work, guys.
Way to keep them in shape.
Cassandra's going to be neck deep in it this year. I know she's really excited.
Sandra, happy
Nope, that's
belated
it.
on
Thank
your
you.
year
Oh, thank you.
at the Village of Hannah City.
Ooh.
Committee reports. Mr. Terravali, Finance.
Nothing.
Planning and Zoning, Mr. Johnson.
Nothing.
Sanitary Sewer, Mr. Pearson.
Nothing for sanitary sewer.
Water, Mr. Pearson.
Water, we do have some stuff to talk about.
Okay. Thought you were going to say.
Don't worry, Caleb, there's no maps.
We got through that one earlier pretty smoothly, didn't we? Yeah.
Okay, so we talked last time about the Illinois American increase. We thought it might be upwards of 60%. Looks like it's more about 40%. That's the good news.
Kind of.
Yeah, as good as it can be, I guess. So Brian ran some numbers, and there's a few different ways we could look at it. But based on that data, it suggests we're going to be a range of $7,000 to $10,000 per month increase for the water charges from Illinois American. So we need to decide how much of that we're going to eat and how soon we want to pass things on or increase. He ran a few different scenarios. One being we subsidize until May 1st and then increase the rates to match 100%. That cost would be about $28,000 to $40,000. I think that's what was just in the thing that he talked about.
Yep. And the first ordinance in the packet is the one that represents the 100% increase.
Effective, okay, May 1st. Or we could do May 1st and then increase to 50% each year for 23 and 24, 25. That would cost us $70,000 to $100,000, which is that second ordinance in the packet. And then third, we could go until May 1st and then just take the data that we gather from now till then to really decide what we want to do. What the actual increase is going to be, we have a much clearer idea of what that, so it's the wait and see. Of course, that would be the same cost to us until May 1st, and then we'd have to decide what we want to do after that. There be some more cost or what.
And there's nothing that says that we have to subsidize until the beginning of the new fiscal year. That was just when the staff talked and Ryan and I talked, we just kind of built the programs around that. But you guys can challenge that thought if you want to as well.
What's the raise per homeowner roughly? I mean,
So if we go to the 100%, it's minimum monthly utility payment goes up around $11
A month.
which for water goes to $27 to $38.
So the total number goes from $61.50 to $72.50 roughly, because the other two don't change. So
yeah, $11 a month. Okay.
Yeah,
110, 120, 130, 130, $135 a year roughly or something.
Yeah,
$132.
So that's the minimum. Then the average, it goes from 41 to 57, for a total of 80 to 96 for all utilities.
I do know from the people I've talked to, the comparison and all of our line items on that one bill is just it's cheap
It is.
to live here. The garbage, the water, it's all cheap.
I mean, I was talking to somebody, Dumfries Lane over by Canton, a very small town. Their board's volunteer, but they're incorporated. They don't bill anything out because I know a guy that's on that board, and I told him, I said, what are you guys arguing about your trash for? Bid the whole town out as one thing because they're paying like 120 or 30 every 3 months per household for trash. He's like, our problem is we don't bill anything. We have no bills we send the client. We'd have to start a billing process right now to bid the whole town out. I was like, we're like 17 or 18, whatever we are, for trash, recycling, yard waste, and all this stuff. And they're like, him and somebody else from the board was standing there like, holy cow. I said, yeah, if you bid the town as a whole, but I said you guys would have to, get some billing software and start sending bills because everybody's on septic, everybody's on wells. It's, they're barely incorporated. The board's volunteer. I mean, but,
Well, the average water usage a month is 3,334 gallons. So that's the average.
And that was the bill, the 4657 bill.
Yeah, that one goes up 1649 or 1650.
What difference does the fiscal year bring for us to wait till then? To pawn it
It's
off
a round
on
number.
people?
It's a round number, and it keeps our losses in this fiscal year versus carrying it over into the next year.
Right.
So I vote we pass 100% on because it's going to come eventually. And at the latest we do it is May 1st.
It keeps the debt in this year, but I just don't see the difference in. I mean, that's waiting several months' notice,
And that gives them, if the one downside of waiting and see what the numbers looks like is we don't give the community that 4 month runway or 3.5 month runway or whatever in terms of, prepping for it.
Well, right now we're going to January and February. Even if we change our mind, we're going to January and February.
I mean, I personally think 30 days is enough notice
I understand.
that your water's going up. I mean, I don't know who's going to go get another job to pay the extra $9 a month.
Our biggest issue is that we've got a high number of retirees that
Sure.
we hear
Yeah.
from.
But they're still going to be retired.
I understand.
Because you're talking basically $20 if I started 2 months earlier than,
That's 24 less eggs.
Yeah.
But
And that cuts our losses.
Yeah.
That does cut our losses if you look at it overall. From the 40,000 to 20,000. If we do start 2 months, if we start at the beginning of March, that saves us as a village from having to pay out another $20,000.
And that's over a month's notice.
Yes.
In the long run, if we do a water tower loan, that's 40 more grand we have on hand of money in the water account to pay against and save interest. I mean, in the long run, I think that 40 is worth more in aggregate
I wouldn't
with
even
us
know.
for that project and split up amongst the $10 savings for everybody in town.
For what it's worth, Cassandra built a really nice spreadsheet where she actually looks at the actual usage of every person for a month, right? And then factors in all the different rates based upon, if they're over or under the next $1,000. And when we build it all in, the average monthly increase in revenue is about 10 grand. It averaged out. We did 3 different months. She picked 3 different months, and it averaged out to about 10 grand. Now the question will be is, on the cost side, is that also going to be $10,000 a month? That might be a little bit lower. It might average a little bit lower than the 10,000, but
Yeah, because we would just be building the increase into the bill. No extra. Because we've already kind of figured where we need to be at to be profitable enough to to save money for projects. So we just literally need to pass this on 1-to-1.
I guess my point is we may, because we don't know each month, right?
Yeah.
How things vary. We may find out 6 months, 8 months, 9 months down that we're a little bit light or we're a little bit heavy in terms of where we're at. We may need to adjust, or we wait for a year. And but our best guess is
Yeah, you can let it run, take a 6-month sample, and say, "Yeah, this is fine. We estimated we'd have made whatever $10, and we're making 10.02. Or okay, good enough. We passed it on 1-to-1. We don't need to adjust anything."
to me, I think the range is somewhere between, we may make 10 or 12 grand over what, or we may lose 10 or 12 grand, below.
Depending on how it works out. But
But both are, we can survive, either way.
Little side note about the numbers. January is going to be skewed right off the bat because we just had a big leak over on problem. It's been fixed, but we don't know how long it was there really, and it finally just surfaced. So
Yeah.
maybe it's a new thing, maybe it's an old thing, but
Plus the new rates will be in effect anyway, so January is going to get hit right now. Yeah.
As of right now, we're just breaking even on water, right?
This year, I projected we might have made $3,000 or $4,000 for the year, so a little bit above.
So our
breaking.
increase, where is that gonna put us at? Breaking even again?
Yeah, that's the plan.
So we should probably go higher so we can make a little money out of it. While we're doing it, shouldn't we?
that's what he was just saying.
He could. It depends on which one of the customers goes above the 1,003. You know what I mean? We could be another 10 or 15 positive, or it could be another. You almost have to let it run for 6 months to see how it
If
works
you put a
out.
gun to my head and said, Brian, guess, I'm guessing that there'll be more months that are below 10,000 than that are above 10,000, and so we'll probably average out a little bit better when we get to the end of the year. That's my guess, based upon looking at the numbers. So I'd say we may be where we are with $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 better, or maybe $10,000
Yeah,
better.
I think his point is, should we
high.
add more so that we can be shooting to be making more money?
I understand.
Why
I
we're
just do
doing
one
it.
adjustment right now, and
That's what he's saying.
yeah, instead of adjusting the water rates next year on a yearly increase, just do one right now and cover it and just let it rise.
It's not going to stop. We're still going to have to adjust next January.
Yeah.
They're going to go up
They're
again,
gonna
whether they
go
go
up
back to their
again.
2.7 or.
Well, what's the
It just depends on what they get approved for.
Yeah.
My opinion's always been, probably always will be, we're spending their money anyway.
But I mean, you're counting making 3,000 to 4,000 after we put money away, though.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Capital.
Yeah, after capital allotment set
Not
aside.
after capital?
Because I thought we were setting aside so much for water.
We are, but the problem we're setting aside 3,500. But if you look at our year-to-date number on water,
We're getting ready to spend it all to eat it, right?
well, no, if you look at our year-to-date number on water, we're up like $2,000, but we set 3,500 aside.
Yeah.
That's not in that. That's not in that number, right? Because it's not an expense.
Yeah.
It's just something that's moved to savings.
Yeah. So after we move the 3,500,
Well, let's take somebody take 35 times 8.
35 times 8, 24 is it 28,000?
I can't do it.
Should we,
Yeah.
28,000.
35 times 8.
30. Well, it's 3,500 times
3,500
8.
times 8 would be 28,000.
And then so we put aside $28,000 with the capital, and we're $2,432 to the good on water
After we put aside the 35.
because it's not an expense. So it's a cash
So if
number.
we wouldn't have put the $3,500 a month away, then how much would be in water?
We'd be that 28. No.
Maybe 30,000.
So it's like what we did is your income and expenses for water was you made $2,400, but then out of other pockets, you took $28,000 and set it aside.
So the
water's
not covered; it's set aside.
It's covering its operational cost every month, but it's not covering that plus capital.
Okay,
correct. And
it is like
that's always been our debate. Does every utility need to cover itself plus capital, or are we content that it all covers, that we, as long as we're setting aside the capital, we're good.
Yeah.
But to his point, if you want to raise it, you'd have to raise it to cover the 3,500 capital.
Yeah.
You'd have to raise it so you could bring in another $28,000 for the year to cover the capital.
Oh no, another would be 12 times 35 then.
Well, it would be this increase plus whatever it would take to get another 2,800, which is 3,500 a month.
Yeah.
And let's say so that would be another 30% probably, right?
Yeah, so you got 35,000 plus another 7. You have 42,000 a year, 3,500 a month. So yeah, it'd be this plus 42,000 a year.
How many customers do we have? Water customers do we have?
600.
650, I
Not for
think.
$1 million water tank.
With 3
That's another
of
thought
them.
too, because if you take it up now, then you do the water tank later, have to take it up again. And
Start collecting it now to spread it over a longer period.
Well, and that's why I want to eat as little as possible.
Yeah, I mean,
We're spending their money already, and it's like, we're going to take this big hit, and we won't be able to do the projects that'll be good for everybody in the town
yeah.
as easily.
I mean, we definitely don't. I mean, I say we don't wait till May 1st. I think you're saying March 1st,
Yeah.
basically. I can't really disagree with him.
Yeah, I mean, spreading it out over two, like the 50% spreading it out is a nice gesture, but I think we should probably just rip off the Band-Aid and go with the 100% as soon as possible.
Well, plus it cuts our, assuming next year's budget surplus is the same as this year, it cuts that any surplus in half.
Yeah. March 1st, and we're passing on 100% of it March 1st. Then I mean, is what
Maybe.
I think.
Maybe 103.
Yeah, or maybe passing on 103% of it to start covering a little bit of the capital, knowing that it's just saving money, saving future money from everybody, because we know we have to replace the tank.
What would be another 3% on that? What would that raise our rate to?
I have to do a calculation.
Well,
He's the
What else?
smart.
it'll be about,
Well,
it was what, 30?
You doing it long-handed?
So
I didn't write down.
I'm not used to my.
3% would be another, what, $1.15?
About 25.
Because we
about.
would have an increase coming this start of the fiscal year anyway, but per the ordinance, correct?
Yeah.
2.5.
Okay, so you're saying 100% plus kind of a cost of living thing thrown on right and just do, yeah.
Well, and here's something I was thinking of, and I mentioned it a couple meetings ago, and I sort of didn't, but I sort of backed off after that. You know, like East Peoria and I think it was North Pekin, both had projects that they did. They were sewer treatment plants. And what they did was they just added a flat fee.
Yeah.
Separate line item?
Separate
That
line
way
item.
everybody paid the same exact amount as the next person. It didn't
Exactly.
vary based on if you went over 3 or under 3. It wasn't varied on the water rates.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they paid their standard rates for their sewer or water, or whatever it was. And then, so if you think about it, if we do, you know,
Plus, it's more transparent to people too, because when that debt is paid off, that fee is, that fee goes away. And you don't have to worry about backing it out of the rate. People being like,
Right.
well, you played a shell game here. It's still built into the rate somehow. It's not baked into the rate. It's right there in the bill. You can see it. When the term expires, it comes off.
How much is the
You know.
minimum water bill going up?
up to
11.
$28.
11.
Well, and I would assume,
No, I'm sorry, the water bill is going up. Yeah, it's 11. I guess.
11,
The
yeah.
base is 11, yeah.
maybe I shouldn't
Yeah.
assume, but I would assume that our concern with the people on a fixed income and the retired people are probably at that, right? And we've got 300 of our 600 customers paying the minimum.
Right about, yeah.
So, I mean, if we do the one separate line item, like you said, it's fair for everybody, but it could still potentially be cheaper the other way for.
And I think we would do that when we actually incurred the debt of the loan. You know, we'd see what we had to do to make up that. Then you'd be playing with hard numbers on that fee. If you increased it 3%, I mean, if you just take 103% of $11, it's $11.33. You know, 5% is $11.55. Obviously, I know that won't work out exactly that way because the rate stuff, but it's roughly another 30 cents a month to do normal cost of living increase on top of passing along the rise there, which,
So if we raised it from
by
$11.50 instead of $11.
yeah, and
Base rate.
$11.55 is 5% of on top
I'm
of
just trying to make it a
$11.
round number.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or just put it in between there, just make it. Obviously, I know that's got to be baked into the rate somehow, and it's not.
Right.
But in general,
That's what
like you
makes sense
said,
to
if the
me.
capital if the water could support its own capital, that would be best. It's especially when we have a target inside. It isn't just to collect money. We know what it's going towards.
Is that the only utility that doesn't cover?
Yeah.
No, I mean, general
Capital.
covers.
Well, the streets don't
MFT.
make anything, so that's straight out of the general fund. Yeah. But they also don't, unless we put a bunch of toll booths up or iPass stations up around.
And I have riots.
I mean,
I'm oversigning
The sewer-
by the way. Right up there.
the sewer and the lagoon together, plus general covered the other two. I mean, the good news is 3 years ago we weren't even really necessarily covering all the capital,
Right.
or at least
Yeah.
we're in the aggregate covering the capital.
With anything. I mean, the general fund was basically covering everything.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
just give me a ballpark. So if we did a $3 straight line item. For our 600 customers, it's $1,800. Times that times 36 months for 3 years, that's $64,000.
Yeah.
Any project that we do for a water tower is going to be quite a bit more. So,
touch.
Well, we know that, but
Yeah.
it's the money we have to pay the bills.
Yeah, I was thinking if you did do something and tried to service that loan, it would be, I don't know, who knows, it'd be a double-digit fee for so many years to cover it, to knock it down or something.
Have we been told, not like the water tower, like when, is there a projected?
no,
We've never
They
ordered
just
it.
keep telling us you're going to be
Need that, right.
We have shovel-ready plans. I mean, literally anytime we wanted to, we could put it out. We could put out the bid tomorrow. I mean, we have shovel-ready plans. It's just we haven't done it.
But we don't have the money.
Yeah, we tried to find grants for a long time.
Funding question.
It appears like the grants are a dead end for us because we're too wealthy of a town.
They
From
said
a
they don't
citizen
know,
standpoint, from a village standpoint, so
they don't
it's
know if
gonna
the
be.
EPA is going to show up tomorrow and say it. Even if they did, they'd probably give you a couple of years to
Well,
get
they do. Every so many years we get that letter. They just never. Farnsworth will write a nice letter saying that we have the huge tower at my Taylor Road and that kind of acts as a backup storage for us. And
But
blah blah blah. And then they let us go.
the biggest problem doesn't seem to be the EPA anymore. It seems to be the other projects we want to do, and which one you should do first.
The water tower. We're hard time
That's the
convincing the
problem.
other ones
So,
because you can't do a little bit of a water tower at a time. You can do the lining a little bit at a time, but you're kind of committed to the tower. When that's kind of an all or nothing
Comes down,
proposition.
comes down.
Everything else can be broken up into parts and made a 5-year plan, like the roads and sewer line and everything like that. The water tower is not practical.
It's over a million.
2 million.
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago. It was a couple million.
It's a little under.
Yeah, 2 million roughly.
and those prices are probably gone up brand new.
2.5 now.
Probably 4 now.
We tried to be conservative. Again, it includes quite a bit of water main too, but yes, I think 2 million is a good number for you to have in your head.
And that's towers, some water main work, and new bulk water. Basically redoing the whole everything over there, be brand new. So, and spidering some new mains out from it.
So 3 million.
But we'll
divided by
still be
600 is
buying
5,000.
water from Illinois.
Just do a one-time fee. Is that what you just said?
Well,
Put that in that.
divided by 600 is 5,000.
He
So
wants a one-time fee of 5,000 per. I'm just kidding.
So I think what I'm hearing is March 1st,
I'm saying March 1st.
100% at least.
I
102
Cannot
to
agree.
105.
I can't disagree, Jeff, at all. I'm in the 103. I'm in the 103 to 105, and Cassandra's idea of just making it a round number, which would knock it down a few parts of a percentage.
So that would take the $38 rate to what?
$38.50.
Yeah, it'd add 50 cents roughly, 45 to 50 cents to the. Adding the extra couple percentage points on would add another 50 cents, 40 cents, something like that. And that would help us cover capital, which we already knew we were going to have a raise anyway for cost of living. We can't really abandon that and keep ourselves a viable water. You know what I mean? Keep ourselves a water. We have to pass along what they're raising for everybody under their umbrella and still maintain our cost of living increase, whatever you want to call it, our yearly increase to, start covering capital to do that, our own infrastructure improvements.
We save like 3, maybe 2 months worth of payments on a loan for the water tower.
Yeah, we just move ahead like we were moving ahead.
Yeah.
Just with this as well.
Exactly. We were like moving ahead just with this built that boiled into it now, baked into it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because we knew what we had to do to be more viable, and so we still do that. We just have to add this in there.
We don't want to go back to where we were.
Yeah, exactly. Worse. I mean, it set us back for 5 years and we're going to eat 2 months of it anyway. No matter what we do, we're going to eat 2 months of it. So we're going to subsidize 9% of it or whatever that works out to for the town anyway. Give everybody a 60-day warm up for it.
Yeah, what was the reception like for that letter we sent out?
We didn't really get.
I got it.
It was a communication about the water increase.
Oh, the water?
That was online.
Yeah, it wasn't
Right.
like physically mailed.
I didn't see a lot of people really comment on it, or most people just like, figures. I think it's almost the thing.
Pretty much what.
Another more bad news. What's new?
Yeah,
Everything's going on. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
I read some of the comments.
I
I,
don't-
think it was written well enough that everybody
Yeah.
knows, like, it's not us just raising their water rates.
Exactly. I don't think anybody really, like, they were just like, eggs are 50 cents a piece. This is 50. Yeah, of course, this is going to go up a ton. The Ameren bill's way high. Yeah.
Abby, I have a legal question.
Go ahead.
So if we want to take the 100% ordinance, change the date to March 1st rather than May 1st. I'm trying to get it to the point where I guess we don't have to vote on it tonight. We can vote on it.
Seems like there's a lot of change in there.
Actually, there's only one number to change in there.
Really?
Well,
Yeah.
I have it pulled up too. I could always switch it and then send it to someone.
What's the agenda say?
It has a vote, but
Yeah, but it doesn't say vote on.
No, it just says increase.
Water rate increase ordinance.
I don't know why we still could vote on
Yeah, we could still vote on it.
we could. But I guess the other thing is, it's the next meeting's the 7th. You'd still have time to vote on it and have it in place.
No.
I don't know how long does it take Tracy to.
It takes us. We do it together.
So just so I'm thinking out loud here, so the date would go to March 1st rather than May 1st.
Yep.
The minimum water fee would go to $38.50.
Correct.
Yep.
Water consumption greater than 2,000 and up to 7 would go to $12.50.
You're telling me, right? Not asking me.
Just doing a little bit of both.
And then exceeding the 70,000 gallons, it would go to $7.50.
That's how the water billing runs, first to the end of the month.
No.
Do you want to make this effective on the day that water billing starts? Or you
Yeah.
rate
That changes by the month,
the day it starts?
based on if it's a weekend, if it's a.
So you just have to
So,
do the
yeah.
math.
So we would just time it
So
for
when
the
will
beginning
they
of March.
read the meters?
Yeah, like I said, it varies.
Because if it falls on the weekend, they don't read it on the first.
Well, no, I know, but generally, do they read it on the 25th or do they read it near the 1st?
It's I don't know if that's a
So
good-
then you word it
Okay.
more like users beginning the first billing.
first billing cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Effective
that's-
first billing cycle, March or something, or the March, effective the March billing cycle, essentially.
Yes.
Set up the date.
When the March billing cycle is really at the end of the 20th or 21st, whenever they go out.
Right.
But that would include, so any water used starting March 1st is going to be billed at the higher amount.
Depends on how you word it, yeah.
No, not the day, just the March billing cycle, whatever
Yeah.
that is, or whatever language best fits whatever they do.
It probably
Because I don't
starts in
really
February.
care.
Yeah, because if for March billing cycle, it has to be in place.
If it's
Like
a March
February 21st.
billing cycle, we're billing for February's usage.
Right.
So yeah, if we
Yeah.
want this to be for March's billing cycle, we need to do this now.
Yeah.
Is that what we want for February's cycle? Or do
I mean, that's up to you.
Well, I thought what I heard is we were going to subsidize January and February.
Yes.
right. Yeah,
Oh, so
this-
it wouldn't be when we read the meters March for it'd be when we read them April.
yeah,
No.
April.
But
Read
No,
them.
that's what we're saying.
No,
If
it
we're-
would be when we read the meters in February.
February's
But that's February.
meter read is March's billing.
Yeah. So you'd only be giving them 1 month.
correct. So they would be the read at the end of March, right?
Or at the end of March would give them 2 months.
Or what we do is we put it in effect after we read the bills in February.
Okay. Run it.
So for
That would-
April's billing cycle.
Correct, which is March's.
March's usage.
Right.
So then it would be April's billing cycle.
Right.
Yeah,
There we go.
March's usage will get.
See, to me, I don't know why this isn't simpler just to say beginning March 1st, because
Will they have for sure read the meters by then
Oh,
for
yeah.
February?
Yeah.
Okay, then you can do that, I guess.
Definitely.
Water
Is it-
usage beginning March 1st, right?
Yep.
Bill will come in April.
Yeah, that billing and water usage beginning March 1st.
how difficult is it for you to rerun those spreadsheets? And
Oh,
add,
not hard.
can you go run them and add 50 cents to every
Yeah,
number and
absolutely.
rerun them?
I'll be right back.
Abby? So basically, we want to change for residential users and beginning March 1, 2023. And then every rate goes up 50 cents.
Okay. And nothing for the non-residential users, those are gonna stay the same?
No, it would go up 67.50 and 21.50.
Okay,
And their date would change to March 1st also.
got it.
And if you could send that to me and Brian, Abby, that'd be great.
Now, if we're going to wait for her, I do have one other water thing to talk about.
Okay.
We have a quote in your pack there from Western Leak Detection. So this is something we've talked about before. We've run a leak thing before and it came back with 0 leaks, which we know is not true. So Jim's like, why don't we do another one? Let's get a quote for it. They gave us 3 different options there. A 1-year agreement, which is $2,200. And then there's a couple different multi-year agreements. But my thought kind of is maybe we just do the one if we're going to be doing possibly the tower anytime soon. I don't know if we want to do the tower and then more leak detection after that.
Is this a place that he wants
It's
to
a
use
place
them?
that he knows of. I think
Okay.
he's,
They're in Iowa. I think he found out from the Pleasant Valley.
Yeah,
Boys,
so
maybe.
another local place.
Joe,
Oh, they come referred. Gotcha.
Yeah, from Joe.
1 year. I kind of agree with that myself too.
Yeah, with all the different changes and stuff we're doing.
Because if something big happens, then you may not want to do it that year until that's done, and then go through after we've replaced some stuff. And
Or as soon as we get things replaced, have them scheduled. We know this is going to be our end. Hey, let's call them up and get them
shouldn't find any
scheduled.
leaks here. We hope.
I don't know, $2,200 to potentially find $10, $12, $15,000 annually seems pretty
If the rate increases, it becomes more lucrative to find the leaks.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion to approve the 1-year agreement of $2,200 from Western Leak Detection.
Second.
So I have a motion by Pearson and a second by Johnson. Any further discussion? Roll call it Pearson.
Yes.
Or Chair Volley.
Yes.
Sidak.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Miller.
Yeah.
Motion carries.
That didn't take as long as it needed to.
Who all am I sending this ordinance to?
Brian, which is administrator, and then mayor at Hannah City. Yeah.
Oh, send it to treasurer too.
Oh, yes.
We'll have her print it. 1, 2.
Is there anything else major coming up in this meeting?
Huh?
Is there anything else major coming up in this meeting? I have to pick up my son
Signage update.
No, not really. It's just the electric aggregation, but you've already seen that.
tonight.
He could walk.
Yeah.
Got too
You
late.
might as well just stay in there till school tomorrow.
Can you, you're getting an email from Abby.
Oh, okay.
Can you print out copies of the ordinance?
For everybody? Got it.
Thanks.
That's a lot of numbers.
It's sent. You should be receiving it soon.
Thank you, Abby.
What range are you in?
Rosemary is not National Guard.
Okay. I was down in Springfield today at Capitol. The Air Guard base. Surveying, monitoring wells for pollution remediation.
All right, so she did 3 months with an old rate versus the new rate. This is every user. And the actual water they used that month.
This is running a
Is it about
1 month
50-50?
simulation.
3 month simulation.
Oh, 3 month simulation. Okay.
So the first month that we went up basically what, 25 to 35, 824. What percent increase is that? And then we went 29 to 42 and 26 to 37. Let me see if I can find that.
Ozone 25 to what? 36?
So the first one was 25,000 to 35,800. That's not right.
Too many zeros.
So 43. One was 29,150 to 42,150.
That's less than 60%.
Almost 45.
So it's pretty consistent then. That's the raise plus
So
a tiny bit
That's
more.
basically 10 grand. It's 29,39. That's 13 grand. That's 11 grand. So let's say we average 12 grand a month. That's 144, right?
12 grand a month, yeah, 144.
We use 210. What it was, 144?
Mm-hmm.
12 times 12.
Okay. And, so I'm thinking we'll make above and beyond operation will be between 24 and call it between 30 and 60 grand, maybe. I don't know. Range.
Above capital.
I mean, the other thing that doesn't assume is electricity's gone up, so the overall operational cost for water is going to go up too.
Yeah.
So I think somewhere between 30 and 60. So 5,000 to what's 30,000? 2,500. Is that right? 2,500 to 5,000 a month.
Yeah.
And our capital's 3,500.
Yeah. So that would go a long ways towards that. It'll either long ways or cover it. I don't know. I have a hard time arguing against that, I guess. It seems to do what we want to do.
Well, you now have an ordinance in your hand that reflects that. It's 30 divided. Yeah, so 2,500 to 5,000 a month, somewhere in that range. We'd be picking up to cover capital. All things else being equal.
Which we know, which we'll use.
And we're probably not going to hit the high end, and
Vanishes.
we're probably not. Every month's not going to be 13, and every
Yeah.
month's not going to be 10.
Yeah,
So that's going to bring it down some. Plus, your costs are going to go up.
yeah. I think we do that.
So everybody should have a copy of the ordinance in front of them.
Make a motion to approve an ordinance amending the minimum water and combined water rates for residential and non-residential customers in the village of Hennessy.
Second. He beat you, Johnson.
I knew.
So I have a motion by Pearson, second by Sidak. Everybody knows what we're voting on, doing the 100% increase, and this will take effect
March 1st.
March 1st.
Water usage beginning March 1st.
Motion and
Just so we're
second to
clear,
raise the
we'll
rates
be
on our
April
citizens.
billing
I
cycle.
know.
Yes.
Correct.
Terrible.
March usage
Starting
beginning
this one,
April.
I got you guys taken away.
Now you're just not even going to vote.
Stay.
Any,
Once you bring it back up.
any further comments,
Eat 100%.
questions?
Pretty good deal.
We'll roll call it. Chair Volley,
Yes.
Sidak,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
What was the ordinance number?
Ordinance 0101.
23 dash.
Or 23-01-01.
We're slacking. That's our first one.
Yeah, normally we have like 5.
Thank you, Abby.
You're
Yes.
welcome. Also, don't forget to send the certified copy of the ordinance to the county clerk. They're going to tell you don't need it, but you do.
To be stupid, why? Why do they need it?
It's just one of those requirements. Yeah,
Okay. Fair enough.
mostly for record keeping type stuff, I think.
All right.
That is all I have for water, sir.
It's about time. Yeesh.
He keeps dominating.
I know he does.
Yeah.
Buildings and grounds
Until the tower comes
didn't have
on.
anything.
Nope.
Streets and alleys.
Covered MFT while you were gone.
Well,
That's been voted on and approved.
CEC, Mr. Sidak.
We have sent out, well, not we as in I, but
We as in
staff
we.
has sent out 4 postcards regarding the redevelopment program. Postcard last week. They got one planned for this week. And I believe another communication next week.
Actually had 3 or 4 applications picked up already.
Awesome.
It's on the back of our bill, wasn't
I don't know.
it? I think it came on the back of my water, sewer, garbage
I don't
bill,
think so.
explaining
No,
the.
it might have been
It
on.
might have been stuck together, but it was a separate postcard from
Yeah.
Jacob and Klein sent them out. We didn't.
Oh,
That's weird.
mine was talking about the whole program and everything.
We didn't send them out.
Applications are online,
It's on our website.
and it's going to be a fun time at the next CDC meeting because I'm sure that's all we're going to talk about.
Already gotten a few. That's great.
3 or 4, I think.
I had one guy.
We haven't
call-
gotten them back. They've been picked up for people to go and.
I had one guy call and ask if he could submit right now.
Good.
Because there was a mistake on the first postcard and it said first come, first serve. Second postcard is being sent out. It actually has a change on it that's
And I explained to the gentleman that the first come first serve was a mistake. And he didn't have to get it done right now. He said, "No, I'm gonna get it done right now."
The sign, IDOT does not want us throwing up a big old stone sign where the current signs are because it's a safety thing. If someone veers off the road and crashes into it, our current signs will just plow over. A stone, like it's concrete, a stone sign will do a lot more damage.
Cover all the telephone poles and trees.
It's called a breakaway. There has to be like
Yeah,
way
it's
telephone
clear on the
poles,
other side of the ditch.
utility poles
By the
have
time you
bolts
get to
on
there,
them.
they're in trouble.
Well, I mean, we could put it there. We just have to put it off right away. We just have to get an easement from the farmer or whoever owns the property, just put it off right away, and then I can't really do anything about it.
You still have to apply, don't you?
I put it off right away and do the work off right. As long as you don't get on the right away to do the work, you don't.
because you're not on IDOT's right away.
Yeah, if we do the work
But there
inside the
is-
field.
No, there is a IDOT regulation for signage outside right away on
What people are
avenues.
reading.
Because like IDOT had to approve the big sign they put up at Ron's there for the board.
That's
No
visibility.
billboards.
Yeah.
there is billboard regulation stuff. I don't know if it would apply to monument sign off right away or not.
Oh,
Yeah,
I got all
billboards.
the paperwork and it's.
Yeah, we fill them out for billboards and stuff.
I
It's
thought you
a mess.
needed approval for anything you can read from the highway.
Yeah, you might. Yeah, because they do billboards. Even if they're off right away, you still have to get a permit for them.
It's also building signage can only be so far out.
We'll put 3 sentences on those things going on the highway.
Well, we've
I
got
looked up
another,
that
we've
thing
got
for 5
another
minutes.
possible alternative.
It's so dangerous. How many people died reading your signs?
Skywriter.
We got maybe using the existing standards, but putting the the aluminum signs that would have been on the concrete ones in the existing white.
I wonder if there's anybody who does the faux break.
Foam and
They do
plastic.
that. They do that faux foam.
Absolutely.
And it looks just like.
So if a car hit it, it'd blow right through like it wasn't even there.
Yeah.
Right in the same spot, half the cost.
You may have come across $1 million idea. You may not want to I've seen this in the.
No, there's got to be out there. My fear is if that will get vandalized.
Anything my brain gets to is already happened.
Well, anything's going to get vandalized.
Yeah. Mm,
We're looking at alternatives. How's that?
sounds good to me. And I have to roll.
That ends report.
Okay. Mr. Miller, do you have the incident report counts?
I only got one email on the 9th. I usually get 2. There was only 6 calls from the 1st to the 7th. Nothing major. Did you get it? Did you get them emails too? Didn't I?
Yeah, I do.
I usually get 2.
I haven't been checking.
Ways
To the 7th.
I mean, it's what's today, 17? I don't know if I missed it or it just ain't come out yet.
Normally get those under county. We're having that on this mailbox.
So I looked through my emails several times.
No, they had a change, so that could have been. And people that were doing them, so.
No, just 6 calls.
We got 14,000 from the Greater Peoria Economic Development.
How much of this new gun law stuff is falling in our premise with the county not
I haven't heard.
stating what they're going to do? I heard it was kind of up to smaller entities.
I'm sure one of these groups that have the monthly meetings will have an update on it, but I haven't seen anything yet.
What is it?
Just with the ban on assault rifles.
Yeah.
So, other business.
Our sheriff said he didn't agree with it, but he didn't say he would not enforce it. We're like one of the 5 counties in the entire
That's just on
state.
purchase. That's just on new purchases, right? Is that banning on all purchases and
Registration.
you have to register them?
Supposedly.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You go to the next county over and buy one, they're not
My
enforcing
question
it.
is,
So
since they hold it 3 days when you buy it, aren't they notifying them already that you purchased it?
well, I could sell one to you.
Well, they're going.
FOIA, you'd sell them.
Foy to Foy, you just put in somebody's Foy card and it gives you a green light or a red light to transfer a weapon to somebody.
You just got to keep record of the transfer for 10 years.
Yeah.
It might ever not be brought up to us. I just figured we're paying them to service our town. And if they're not going to make a decision on it, we'd kind of like to know if they're going to be enforcing our citizens to that law. Yeah.
That's something I can reach out to Chris. In general.
And that's what they're going after, right? Like if you already got one and it's not registered, they're wanting you to step forward and register it.
As far as I know, they want to know where they all are. Right. Who's got it.
Good luck with that.
Mm-hmm.
So electrical aggregation, Brian?
Just an update. You guys got my silences approval email. I didn't hear back, so I assumed you were all good. Good Energy's who we've used forever. Peoria County, Peoria, East Peoria. There's 38 communities that are in there. We had a meeting. Jeff and I sat in on it. Basically, the rate that they had was 0.1204, and that begins July of 2023 and runs for 29 months. The way the program, we'll get some communication materials and everything together, but the way the program works is if the community opt in, everybody in the community is opted in. And if somebody does not want to be in, then they have to opt out. And we'll have communications on all of that moving forward. The good thing is if Ameren's better than the rate we've negotiated, then you opt out and buy from Ameren. The only problem is you're going to buy from Ameren for the next year or until another program's available. The village is locked in for 29 months in terms of what we can offer, individuals can do.
And our decision was based off of some of the people have heard that, and that's a really long rate, but some people have heard that it could go up to 15 cents in the near future.
Or it could go even higher.
My only fear was that Ameren typically won't allow anybody a deal without guaranteeing they're going to make money on it, which was my kind of fear is if there is a a recession of some kind and the prices do come down ultimately, that we'll be stuck at that rate.
But the individuals can always opt out and go back to Ameren. So
Correct.
Full disclosure, I did speak with Nate, the guy that's been here a few times. Nate's opinion was to hold on and wait. He thinks that the rates are going to get better. We, after listening to Peoria County and hearing, everybody else's input, Jeff and I decided we were going to lock in. And I told Nate, give it, track it and come give us the "I told you so" speech. And then, we can look at it again at next go around. And he was okay with that. He was fine. So I appreciate him and the work he had done for us as well. But we decided to go ahead and do it and hedge our bets, and hopefully it'll work out for the best.
Isn't there an opt-out period though?
opt out for residents
I
only.
think they,
But they have to
No,
opt
I think
out.
I think there's a period for the village that we might be able to opt out, but I don't think that
I
for
think-
individuals. I think they can anytime.
yeah, but I think they mail you a letter when it starts, and it says if you want to opt out, then you have to
Call or
call or
Sure,
send
okay.
this back.
Just an update for Jim's 32-year anniversary. Was going to have him come to the board, but Jim's not one to come and things like that. So today when I called him up here to the office, under a pre-notion, that I need to talk to him about the water leak that we had in the village for his 32 years of service, purchased him an 8-round golf cart at Coyote Creek Golf Course with cart. So
8 rounds?
8 rounds of golf at Coyote Creek with cart. And it was on special when I had Cassandra get him. So that was really nice. He was really appreciative. He was like, hey, you guys didn't have to do that. And I was like, we want to make sure that.
Well, he can play on the weekends if there's no water leaks. Take him 3 years to get 8 rounds in.
Well, it's only good for, I think, that year.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Good. So I was able to get that to him today. Also, instead of a 2-week break, we have a 3-week break now on board meetings until February 7th. That means you guys have an extra week.
5 weeks into January, so we'll be
Yeah.
back every 2 starting on the 5th. I think until like May.
So that's after this one.
So it'll be 3 weeks from tonight. It'll be the next meeting rather than
February
normal
7th.
2 weeks.
February 7th, yeah.
Yeah. Then they'll go back to
Just
the.
look at your calendar. It'll say 5 weeks.
Or send me a message.
Well, if you show up, it's your own fault.
Anything else that needs to come before the board? If not, meeting adjourned.
Brandon, Abby, thank you.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a great night, everybody.
Night.
Thanks.